The topic here is about the net present value, which is another capital budgeting technique. We have covered payback period and accounting rate of return so far. Now, this pack of slides will take you through the NPV analysis. I'd like you to go to the past unit, the second unit, where we had discussed about the time value of money, where I had taken up the concept of present value in detail. Now, that same concept plays a role even here. NPV stands for net present value. So basically, we know what is present value. There has to be some deduction out of it for us to arrive at the net value. So for us to arrive at the net present value, you basically have to deduct the initial cost on a project from the present value of future cash flows. I will take this up in detail when we do the example in the forthcoming slide. Now, why NPV analysis? Because it determines how much an investment project or a series of cash flows is worth. So again, I would like you to recall what you had studied under present value, where the entire purpose of present value was to know the worth of the future cash flows in the present scenarios. In the present scenario, that's what is the importance of NPV2. It's an all-encompassing metric because it takes care of revenues, expenses, all capital costs associated with investment, because the cash flows that we consider here are the free cash flows which the company has. So those free cash flows is after all kinds of expenses and costs have been taken care of. That's why we say it's an all encompassing metric. Look at the formula here, and you will find that you have done a similar formula in unit 2 when you were understanding time value of money. Only the nomenclature may be different. So if you have to understand the NPV of XYZ project, you say that's equal to Z1 by 1 plus R plus Z2 by 1 plus R square minus X0. Now this timeline can increase. It may not necessarily be 1 plus R to the power of 1 and then 1 plus R to the power of 2 only. It can be 1 plus R to the power of n, depending upon the number of periods that you are considering the cash flow for. So Z1 is the cash flow in time 1, Z2 is the cash flow in time 2, Zn could be the cash flow in time n. So this value can keep going up. R is the discount rate. Well, discount rate is the rate at which you are discounting the future cash flows to the current period. For you to brush up your concepts, please refer to Unit 2, where we had discussed time value of money in detail. I'm not taking up discount rate again here in detail. You know the concept already. X0 is the cash outflow in time 0, which means this is the original investment which you make in the time 0. Z1 is the cash inflow. Please remember that X0 is the cash outflow and not the inflow. Instead, Z1 and Z2 are the cash inflows. So if Z1 and Z2 are positive, X0 has to be negative because that's an outflow which is opposite from the inflow. So these are small things which you have to keep in mind while you're calculating NPV. Let's look at the example here. There's an initial investment of $8,320 on plant and machinery, and that's expected to generate the cash flows as shown in the question here. 3411, 4070, 5824, and 2065 in the first till the fourth year respectively. At the end of the fourth year, the machinery will be sold for 900,000. Calculate the net present value of the investment if the discount rate is 18%. Now, if you see, these PV factors are given here. You can even calculate these PV factors. What does PV factor mean? PV factor, the basic understanding of PV factor is that it is the discounted value of one unit or 1 rupee or $1, whatever one in form of any currency in the future period. When it is discounted to the current period, that is called as the PV factor. So if you take year 1 divided by 1 plus 18% to the power of 1, which means the value of $1 discounted at 18% for for 1 year is 0.8475. So if the value of $1 is 0.8475, the value of $3,411,000 will be 0.8475 multiplied by 3411. That's how you calculate PV factors. You can do the numerical even otherwise without calculating the PV factor. Let's look at the solution here in the upcoming slide. Now I'll just see the slide here. It gives you the timeline of first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Net cash flows are already given to you in the question, so these have been picked up from the question. Salvage value is the value, the residual value as we had discussed in accounting rate of return, which you get on the initial investment. So which is 900. Since it's the addition, we add it to the last year, the year in which you get the residual value. So the total cash flow across the first year till the fourth year is what is given here. For year 1, for year 2, for year 3, and for year 4 when salvage value is added to the cash inflow. So that goes up by $900. Now into the present value factor. So we have just multiplied the present value factor that we calculated here. In case you to arrive at the present value of the future cash flows. In case you do not want to do that, you can even do, as the arrow shows here, 3411 has been discounted at 18% for 1 year. So in that case, you have not calculated the present value factor. You have straight away discounted 3411 at 18% for 1 year to arrive at 2890.68. Similarly, you can do it for $4,070. You can discount it at 18% for 2 years. Similarly, for 5824 for 3 years and 2965 for 4 years. So in that case, you may not need to calculate the present value factor as you've done here. So the answer will remain the same. So all these values added up, all the present values added up give you a value of 10,888, and from this is the present value. So we had understood till here in unit 2. Now net present value will be when you deduct the initial investment out of this present value. Why have we not found out the present value of initial investment? Because that's already in year 0, so that's already the present value in a way. So 10,888 minus 8320 gives you $2,568,000, which is the net present value. So net present value primarily means that the present value of future cash flows and present value future cash flows, and when you deduct the original investment out of it. So if you logically think as a business person, you would always want this net present value to be positive, because that means that the present worth of future cash flows is more than your original investment today. That's what it means by net present value. If you come to think of it, just spend a few seconds to think about it, and you'll make sense out of what I'm saying. So the decision rule here is that in case of a standalone project, accept a project only if its NPV is positive, as we just now saw, 2568 positive. Because in that case, we are saying that the worth of the present worth of future cash flows is more than the initial investment. Reject it if the NPV is negative, obviously, and stay indifferent between accepting or rejecting if NPV is 0. If NPV is 0, you may want to accept it or you may want to reject it. Call is completely yours. But if it's positive, if you have to choose between negative NPV and positive NPV, the choice is very clear. It has to be positive NPV. In case of mutually exclusive projects, now mutually exclusive projects means projects which compete with each other, which means you can choose one of the two. Accept the project with a higher NPV. Obviously, when the higher NPV value, you will accept a project for which the NPV value is higher. I hope this makes NPV concept clear to you. More in the upcoming slides. Thank you.